Quacktastic.
This is Ducks in a Row, a game about lining up ducks in a row. My name is Keelan Harvey and I'm the founder of K-Gent Games, and this is our very first project. Since our launch last week and the release of version P0.1, P standing for pre-alpha in this case, we have been gathering plenty of feedback, identifying the key issues, ready for a new release version P0.1.1, which is the version you can see in the background just here. These early prototypes are all about understanding that core mechanic of lining up ducks and placing them in a row. This version you see here was focused on the rotation element. So in the previous version, the rotation was handled randomly every time you placed a row. You got a new row and that was randomly rotated each time. That still happens, but now you can also control that with the right stick in this version, or arrow keys if you're on mouse and keyboard. This is one of the key questions I received when testing the first version. People were asking constantly, can I rotate it? Is that something I can do? They were expecting it to be there on the right stick or something and tried using it and nothing happened. They were confused. On top of that, there was a few other issues we identified. Difficulty being a big key one. People couldn't finish the game, not even myself could finish the game or beat it. Alongside other things like the onboarding process of what the game actually is about, and people not seeing the timer and that going down without noticing and getting confused about how that worked. I put those two issues on the back burner and focused on the rotation problem and difficulty problem. I didn't want to add too many things because then if I tested something and I had so many things going on, it'd be hard to identify what the key changes made and how they really affected the experience. So we focused on that rotation, added that into the game. I added a few more ducks as well to see how that would feel.
Quacktacular.
And it is a bit easier, but still, as a result of playtesting on Wednesday at Game Talks Live in Dundee, we identified that the difficulty was still way too high and a bunch of other things going on too. So I decided instead of just releasing P0.1.1 and making that the Friday build, we've now worked on 0.1.2, which has taken into account some more of the feedback we got at Game Talks Live, and we're testing it tonight, in fact, at Abate Game Testers in Dundee. So let's go over those changes. One of those first easy things to implement was just adding more options in how you control the rotation. Using the right stick meant your thumb was no longer on the A button, ready to place that row down straight away. So simply adding the bumpers and Q and E on mouse and keyboard to that gives you more ways of controlling the rotation. The other key changes are around the balancing of this game, the pace of it. The row placement time has increased from 5 seconds to 10 seconds, which completely changed the pace of the game. I mean, you've got more time to find the decision making. With such a short timer and how much you're trying to keep track of, it really compounded the randomness of the ducks moving around the pond. So with a decreased speed in the ducks and that increased placement timer, you have a bit more control and it feels a lot easier to be able to actually line up those rows. And you can actually win now, which is brilliant. It feels like you can actually win the game. And finally, a couple key changes to the communication of things. A very obvious one is now the row fills up as a progress bar as the timer placement goes down. So that gives you a clear, readable indication of how long you've got left to place that row without having to look in the top right corner every second. The other little thing was just changing the color when you place the row down. It's now green instead of red, which signifies success over a failure. And secondly, when you place a row with no ducks in it, it's also red still. So that keeps that communication very clear in the color scheme there. Overall, this is feeling like a massive improvement over the previous versions. That's all thanks to the feedback we've been getting. So thank you so much everyone who's left their comments, shared their thoughts in the Discord and in person as well. And if you'd like to try this version of the game out, it's playable right now. You can click the link in the description to get to our Discord server. There's links to all our builds in there. So that just about covers it for this week in this devlog. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you're enjoying this process as much as I am.
Quacktastic.
And yeah, thank you very much. Once again, the feedback has been incredible. So take care, have a quacktacular day, and I'll see you soon.